hold on to what we've got. Doesn't really matter if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. So let's give it a shot. Overclock Workshop, Subata 120. That's the intro.
I'd say we were halfway there, but we're actually way past halfway now.
That was the intro.
We're almost 3/4. So
that was the. I said the title.
3/4.
I said the title. I said what we're doing. It's this again. God, it's actually. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Well, yeah.
You know what? I'm not even going to mention yesterday.
I am. I tried to stream. If anyone caught that, I think you know what happened as much as we do.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone tuned in. Thankfully.
There was 4 views when I finished it.
Oh.
One of them was me at the end. One of them was Mitchell, who told me there was something wrong.
I wasn't one of them.
Other people experienced it and were probably just baffled. But we were streaming like we normally do on Mondays. Or I say normally, we only have done it once before, I think. Point is, we tried streaming and my capture card didn't capture it. And neither of us actually checked to see if the stream was alright, which was and it wasn't. It was just me talking, and so it was like a black screen with me talking to myself, except I wasn't talking to myself, so I was talking to Harry and Tom near the end. Point is, it's deleted because it's unusable.
Every cloud has a silver lining, because we have some good news. Equipment upgrade. That's not incorrect though. I got a new laptop. It's very swift, very powerful. And it means we get to do this. I'm sure. Considering how many views these can get, I'm just going to assume that everyone watching knows what this series is now. And
anyone that's really knows us has skipped through this part because they know that we're just talking about a bunch of rubbish until we actually start the video.
And then we talk about a bunch of rubbish.
Yeah.
So our ideas.
A bunch of rubbish.
Ideas such as my clean overclock for the Subata. Corkscrew Rounds. I don't know why I called it that, to be honest. I think it's because the point is that the bullets are like a corkscrew shape on them. But that's not actually true. They're meant to have like arrowheads on them. And I don't know why it used the thorns. Anyway.
I think it's because it looks like a screw.
Yeah. Something that nothing does is just convert like the damage type of a weapon to something else. You get like elemental damage boosts, like from volatile bullets, which adds fire damage, but doesn't actually turn the damage that the weapon does into fire damage. I thought, what if there's something like that, but actually in a way that benefits something, which is just what it does. It just converts the Subata's damage type to pierce, which is Crossbones damage type. But I don't think it's as simple as that. The idea was I wanted like every shot to feel like a very small crossbow shot where it can damage something from any direction, but it doesn't mean that it's strong. It can just do that. And in that same vein, I believe the crossbow bolts can like hit things that are in the exact same place, like multiple enemies. I just wanted that for Subata for some reason, and I also like the idea of there being arrowheads on the bullets. But no, it came back to the idea of that being able to damage it from anywhere, because the Subata doesn't have an ammo breaking mod or overclock, and I don't want it to. I think it's more interesting because this damage type is the reason why crossbow doesn't have armor breaking, because it just goes through it. And I think when it's just a conversion, if not adding any damage, it can function as a clean, because frankly I don't know how this would really... Well, I can imagine how it would work. It would literally just feel like crossbow bolts if they did the damage of Subata bullets. Which means...
I don't understand what the hell the pierce type is.
Me neither. This is why I realised that just writing convert the damage type to pierce probably doesn't work, because you sort of need to divide it into direct and area damage. So... which could be a better idea, where it just converts a small amount of the Subata's damage to pierce, because it relies so much on precision, and the only way it doesn't is with explosive reload. And I think it's not a clean version of that, but it's in the same vein, where But even more so of this, you don't have to worry about where you hit an enemy. Like even though you'd be doing like no damage, you could still like hit an oppressor from the front and damage it, which is like, well, I suppose you can do that with Driller's primary weapons. But still, it's just weirding up the Subata, letting it do things it can't normally do. Not really making it stronger, to be honest. Just more flexible. Although probably less flexible, because if you convert some of the damage to area, that means you probably lose out on weak point damage, but it wouldn't technically be a negative, so it can still function as a clean. So it's actually a clean masquerading as a balance.
Do damage to weak points, or just bonus?
You serious?
What? Hey, you've got to talk.
No.
Oh.
No, because like the crossbow, like on the crossbow, it's like 100 and something direct damage and like 60 area damage. The weak point damage is only done by the direct damage, but it has area damage as well, even though it doesn't actually have a radius. I basically just want that for Subata for some reason, but I think it would work. To be honest, it would definitely feel weird, especially with frozen status effect. And you know what, they need to update volatile bullets as well. To include other things, although that's kind of unstable. Still, I'd be surprised if you were able to say anything about this, because I don't really understand how the damage type works. But I just envisaged it working if it worked the same way as the crossbow.
The looser concept, because that I know about, but like converting a weapon's damage type that isn't just inherently elemental, they add like fire or convert fire, and it's really only ever fire. You get the point. That isn't really done. No, the fire elemental stuff is, but the like changing into like pierce and other stuff like that. I mean, I guess adding AOE is a thing.
But I didn't. Yeah, I didn't want to do that though specifically, because I don't think Subata should have that. I want to sort of do the pierce type, which is like this weird middle ground that I just don't understand. But I just get the feeling it would be right.
So it's like the axes, they love pierce.
They feel like they're not, but they definitely feel like they definitely should be, because like when you look at the crossbow bolts, it's like they have this thing. It feels like they have this small pulse when they hit things, although that might be misremembering. But it feels like that's what they do. But it's like, and the axes definitely feel like they do that, but that's only because they deal multiple pieces of damage, I suppose, so it can actually hit multiple things despite it being like a single target thing. I don't know why. I just want the Subata to work along those lines in some capacity. And I like it's literally just because I don't. It's such a precision-focused weapon that I thought, well, maybe we don't want that all the time. So make it do this instead. Make it just go through armor. Why not?
Yeah.
Or even ignoring armor, but that would be a little bit higher up, frankly. If it just ignored armor. Yeah. Cool. Corkscrew rounds. Add it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna make it big. No, I mean, this is definitely one where it's like in my head, it works, but I can't really describe it because I don't know how the damage type works, but I just think it would work. So do it. Convert the Subata damage type to pierce just by default. You don't even need an overclock for it. Just do it by default. Cool.
I could do with a touch up. Well,
I beg your pardon.
You don't know that. Because Lazy maybe hasn't done a bit of it. So
oh yeah. Hold on, we gotta wait for that.
Good or bad, yeah.
We gotta wait for that. Yeah. Anyway, you're clean.
It is. It's my clean. And it's called Pistol Whip. Like the thing, Pistol Whip. You hit something with like the back of your gun, I think. Like
except you don't.
Yeah.
With this.
You can't. Uzi Iron Will. Basically, it'll say at the bottom, I had one, but it was too boring, so I can't even be changing.
Oh, it doesn't say that. It's the original description.
Yeah. And I think it was just like what plus 20 ammo, plus 5 max size,
Yeah.
and you were just like, no,
Yeah.
no, you're not doing that. And I'm like, oh. So I just kind of rummaged through the icons and I came up with this. Enemy shot by the Subata will take more melee damage. And
Oh, right.
magazine size.
That's not there either. There's no magazine size.
Why?
Because I left it out.
But it's fine.
I would say I wouldn't say I corrected it, but as in you can like take this away if you're against it for some reason. But it reads for me. Enemies shot by the Subata will take more melee damage for a short period of time. Because it can't be permanent, can it? But there's also no numbers at play. So if it's like if it adds like 1 melee damage per like bullet, sure, it can last forever, and you can just like stack up a direct. Because that's my question is, huh? But I have more questions. But
I didn't sit down and like really workshop this idea because I didn't.
Well, no, that's what we're here for.
Time, but I don't know, just like it's something that you could use with the cryo cannon to make it even more broken, like a melee.
Yes.
You would freeze something, or before then shoot them with Subata a bit, which makes them vulnerable to like, I'm thinking it just like things are weak to melee. It just gives them that basically. Like it turns them into like robots.
So would it be an actual debuff, like with
pretty much
with a logo?
Yeah, and like Ebonites.
But how?
Be for like 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. And it applies. Is it? It can't be. Is it like a chance to apply it? Then it must be. Unless it's just not a very big increase.
Well, the thing is you're right. Obviously, this is very strong, but getting in a meleeing is a risk in of itself. Like,
not if you're using the cryo gun.
Are really strong. Like Berserker is a very strong thing, but no one really uses it because it throws you in the middle of the gangs. And this would just, I don't know, this is just pretty much. This is the output. Just, I don't know, yeah. Because the Subata doesn't really play into a cryo melee build like the other two.
No, why would it?
Really do it either. But the temperature shot.
Well, not melee.
Can't.
Yeah,
it's
true.
It plays into because melee is your main goal is freezing. So your cryo cannon is axe freeze, a temperature shot secondary, and then you have like obviously axe gels on killing, and then you have a cooldown build. But the Subata doesn't play into that at all ever. So this is, I don't know, a way of doing that. Which basically is like if you run out of cryo, you could still use the Subata to benefit from melee. So you can kind of continue that until you get a resupply or some shit. Basically, melee damage. Yes.
Wow. Well, it's definitely unique. I'll say that for it.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's not?
I'm pretty sure I've seen someone do something like this before.
That's not what I meant. I mean in the game. Well, I don't care. I don't care what other people have come up with, because that guy who was coming up with Overclocks ideas, he stopped, and I don't like that because I liked them. I thought the presentation was very nice. No, I didn't steal any ideas. I might have done by accident though, and he probably did it on purpose. Pistol whip, sure. Well, you put me in a box here. I mean, I put you in a box by making you come up with this, but you put me in a box by there not being any numbers to speak of, so I don't even know what to think. I think it's a good idea, but it's not like I can suggest any changes because there's nothing to change. Because there's literally nothing to change. I wouldn't change how it works mechanically. We would just need it to be. This is the thing. Ghost Ship, to help us workshop these ideas, put them in the game so we can see how balanced they are, and then Yeah. That's what I said. I should also say, I don't care about Subata. So I don't care if this is probably going to be the worst episode. Let's move on.
Which I just want to mention that's sorry to I think it's like Azog the Ugly, whose favourite weapon is the Subata.
Oh shit! I'm sorry,
sarcasm.
Azog. I'm sorry. You're like the
not
best. You're the best. But your favourite weapon sucks ass.
Well, it's just it's the kind of weapon that like cool. But I'd rather use like a chart, like experimental plasma.
Anything else?
Or like a wave cooker.
A wave cooker.
You got like a handheld microwave as a war crime weapon, or you can use a pistol. Like
every weapon's a war crime. I'm pretty sure in Deep Rock. Like they're like this coil gun here is a bit of a war crime. It's just like, brother in Christ, it's like a dozen weapons that would be completely illegal. But not Subata.
Except the Subata. Subata is just what like women that live in bad neighbourhoods have in their purse.
Well, I think the explosive reload might not be allowed.
Yeah. I mean, explosive ammo isn't I think looked fondly upon by anything. But point is, it's hard to come up with things to improve a gun that you don't think is worth improving.
I thought you were about to say it's hard to come up with things that aren't war crimes.
No,
although this one could be a war crime.
Like rads,
Add rads. I'm sorry. I mean, they've just been looking at like a logo for like the past 2 minutes. My balanced overclock, grenade. If anyone's ever played Borderlands, and is familiar with
skip this part,
and is familiar with TDR, you'll know how this works. Upon reloading, throw the magazine like a grenade. Although maybe you shouldn't say that because I don't think it's going to be where you can like hold it and choose your trajectory. It's just going to fucking chuck it, and exploding on impact with enemies or terrain, which seems obvious, but it hasn't got any fuse time. It's just impact. I also put some base stats. I think all the numbers are subject to change, but anyway, 2.5 meter radius, 40 area damage is like the base. But much like TDR, the damage, I don't know if the radius is affected in Borderlands, but that's not the point. Here, explosion damage and radius increases with the number of rounds left in the clip. That being 0.3 meters and 5 area damage. So that's quite a bit less than the direct damage that the bullet would deal, but it is in an area, so it might be worth saving those bullets. And unsurprisingly, decreased direct damage and accuracy. I mean, that's not really necessary, but it's there. And of course, much like TDR again, prematurely reloading uses all ammo left in the clip. Obviously, it uses it in the explosion, but you still lose the ammo. If you say you fire one bullet and you reload, you lose all the ammo left in the clip. But that's the choice you're making to increase the strength of dem explosions. Obviously, I created this just for there to be TDR, like just that mechanic. So I don't care if it's balanced or not. It might be balanced within its own right. I get the feeling it's more unbalanced in regards to being part of Guerrilla's equipment, to be honest.
Well, as far as Guerrilla goes, apparently you can never really have enough explosions.
About that, I don't think Guerrilla's a very explosive focused. The satchels would suggest otherwise, but apart from that,
cheese.
Hey.
Explosive reload.
That
is bad.
And this explosive. Well, no, it's not explosive reload. The EPC technically has explosions anyway, but no one don't set plasmosions. Anyway, like I said, I don't care if it's balanced or not, but it might be. Obviously, I said the numbers that are subject to change, but I would like the mechanic of you have strong explosions based on how many bullets you have in the clip.
I'd be surprised if you know this off by heart, but like how many ammo you can have on a clip for the Subata.
Yeah.
Because
I was
you
thinking
might
about
wanna
that.
decrease that.
No.
And no.
No, because the more ammo you have in the clip, the more you're like, the more you, the more that's left in the clip, the more you use. You can use a lot of ammo with this overclock because, like I said, it uses ammo that's left in the clip and it adds it to the explosion. It adds in that element of choice, which is actually the part of this I think is actually good and would be a cool mechanic. Which is why I wonder if maybe the base explosion should basically be non-existent. It should be entirely decided by what you have in the clip. I don't know.
Also, what if you reload it? Like, do you have to shoot a bullet before
Yeah,
you
you
reload
do.
it?
And it does work that way in Borderlands. It's kind of weird considering they designed that entire manufacturer from the ground up to work that way. You have to fire at least once to be able to blow things up. But yeah, you do. You do have to shoot once.
So you can still do the gun spin.
Yeah, you have to. That's like it's the best one.
Certainly up there. Although I think the Hurricane is the best animation.
Oh well. Yeah.
Especially combined with the fact that if it isn't any rockets in there, he does like the fist shake.
It's
Which is
pretty
like the
weird.
funniest shit in the game.
I didn't realise you can't see other people doing those animations. It's annoying.
Right.
It's not very. I don't appreciate that.
They'll do that. That's a quality of life thing.
Yeah.
Back on the subject.
Back on the
I think
subject.
you could kind of tell we haven't done this in a while. It is. I think having the Subata do AOE is always good. Although this comes at the cost
It's always
of ammo.
good, in all of
You
the
can get
in all of the
more
ways it already does it. It's always a good thing when Sabat does AOE, like it can already do. What? What?
Exactly.
What?
The point is that there isn't any.
Yeah, but does it
So it'd
need
be
it?
nice for it to do.
No. Kinda. I mean,
Well,
it is a good. It is a good point, isn't it? Because I feel like I've heard this argument before, like against that. But like both of Driller's other secondaries are arguably more AoE focused than anything else. Like the Subata is what people go to say like, oh, Driller's secondaries are like precision, like high damage per shot. No. EPC's got that kind of, but
Wait, did
it's
they say that Subata does high damage per shot?
well, it's a precision weapon. Is what you mean, and you can do a fair amount of damage to weak points with single shots. You do like upwards of like around 50, I think, under certain circumstances. Anyway, it's a pretty direct translation of the mechanic from Borderlands, as in I literally just wrote what it does. But I've wanted this for a while, as in I've always thought of that mechanic existing somehow in Deep Rock, and it always comes down to the Subata. It just makes sense to me. And it will be added in update 39. I think that's season 5.
Okay. That was the next one.
No, I think the next one is 37. 7.
Oh.
7.
Yeah. Well,
Don't criticise it. We're moving on.
That's moving on.
Speaking of being critical,
yes, critical hit with the weak point image bonus.
oh, I'm hold on, everyone, stop, pause the video, comment what you think this is going to be. Why don't we do that?
Well, because people or someone wrote what they right. Someone wrote what they thought of like some of the Overclocks while they were watching the video, and then got to the end and realised that we made the same Overclock, which is pretty funny. So the point is, people just will comment if they want to comment. We don't need to provoke them into doing that.
Yeah, we do.
Point is, if you did comment, plus 60% weak point bonus.
Oh.
with a loss of 40 ammo.
Yes.
So basically, just hit weak points. You do a lot of damage.
And
You
it will be a
you're
lot.
Probably not gonna have enough.
It will be a lot. It will be because obviously, if you know, if this existed, which it will, you'd be using the weak point mod, which means you'd be having 140 plus 140% weak point bonus, and then on top of that, you'd probably be using volatile bullets as well. Or actually, I think if you took Mactera coating, that would decimate Macteras, but still, fire's better because Mactera. Get this, guys. Mactera coating is completely pointless because you can just set the Mactera on fire and do more damage that way.
It's if you don't want to use the flamethrower. It was like if you... Well, that's what I got. If you don't want to use a flamethrower, but you want to be able to kill Macteras better, use the Subata. Except they added that when the other option is Cryo, which is amazing at killing Mactera.
Alright, well,
so I never got that mod. I just never used it, but I don't know why it's in the game. It doesn't make sense.
Whatever, more weak point damage. This is quite a big 60%. It's quite big, but it's really strange to me that the Subata doesn't have this, frankly. So there's no real argument against it. It should have this, and I'd also want maybe an accuracy increase as well alongside it. That'd be lovely. That'd be delicious.
Is
and
it always really accurate?
Yeah, but we want a little bit more. And then, a slow rate of fire as well. That's what I would do. That's what I would do this. And then you got Bon Appetit. Or maybe let's have Subata focus shot.
You just want to add focus shots into a different weapon. I won't allow it.
I actually haven't done it. I didn't end up doing it. I'm going to do it for the boomstick.
But you've already made all your boomsticks.
Anyway, I literally can't criticize this because I like it. It's what it should. It is pretty much flawless. The numbers might be off. I don't know. I think proportionally they're balanced though. Maybe things need to be tweaked so it's less, but proportionally I think it's right. -40 to +6% bonus. I think that's right. And just conceptually, it's obviously very simple, but it's exactly what Subata needs.
Yeah, if you hit weak points, you're going to be getting a lot more damage, right? Overall, but
it will be a lot. It'll be doing more than.
You're going to come out a lot shorter than normal.
It'll be doing more than like base Bulldog, I think, a lot of the time. If you actually hit weak points, but that's actually Bulldog without hitting weak points still. But still, in the context of Subata, even with the less ammo, you still have a lot more ammo than the Bulldog, and just a lot more DPS. Yeah, this would be very strong, but I think it probably is balanced. And yes, it would be strong, but like I said, it's something Subata just should have. So I'm not worried. Give the Subata weak point based overclock. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to trickle down. Anyway, we'll move on now to I say probably somehow worse than everything else. I told you about this. Well, you might not remember. My unstable. It used the +1 symbol. It's called a Kimbo. You can see where this is going.
Type in the comment what you think it could be.
I've already put it up. Wield 2 Subatas at once. Can this ever work? No. Let's talk about it. Well, so basically, so it says wield 2 Subatas at once, but it's in brackets double ammo, damage, and fire rate, which is actually what's happening. Right? Let's be honest. But of course, that entails double base spread and reload time. I think those are pretty obvious penalties. And then you also have to fully empty the clips before reloading, because you don't have the hand free to reload with. You'd have to like throw them down and you have to slot the ammo in on your waist or something. Probably also a massively increased reload time as well.
Do it like Reaper from Overwatch, where you don't have ammo clips, you just pull out new guns.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Well, that's kind of what the grenade thing is, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this reminds me of something, because there was another idea I had for this I didn't write down, which was that it wouldn't be balance. But what if you like just deactivated all your mods, but instead you get 2 Subatas? Because I think there's something that does that. Not in Deep Rock, but that's something in another game that's like that. And I didn't write it down because I didn't think it's a good idea. But then again, I did write what's here down, and it isn't a good idea. It's a fun idea, though. And I do want. I shouldn't say I want more dual wield weapons because currently I don't want new weapons. Currently, but the idea of making like it so you can wield 2 Subatas or 2 Stubbies or something is very enticing, and probably shouldn't be done. But could it be done? I genuinely don't know. It could be done. It could be balanced, but
I think
as all things could be.
Thing they could do, which I would appreciate, but if it spent too much time and effort, then I'd feel like they wasted their time.
Yeah.
Is change overclocks visually and the guns, so you can visually tell what the overclocks are.
Oh, this could be a whole video, though, couldn't it?
Then a Kimbo would kind of work because you wouldn't have to double ammo, double damage, double fire rate. I think it's fucking ridiculous. But you would just have 2 of them, which is something.
Well, it's sort of like conceptually, it's almost like mini shells if it didn't decrease your damage. It just made up for it in other ways, like as in terms of penalties. That's really the question here. Can you have an overclock like micro flechettes or mini shells, but it doesn't decrease the damage? Can other penalties actually be sufficient for not doing that? I don't.
It's
possible.
Don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
The way I see it, like.
But I don't want that on Subata. I don't want something that just gives it loads of ammo and decreases damage. That would feel horrible on Subata. It's be like a pea shooter.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking. I'm thinking with this, it's like you're looking for higher DPS. You're looking for like an insane amount of damage being done in a very short amount of time. So I'm looking more at nerfing the overall ammo. Like, probably, like, still give it more than it currently has, but doesn't meet the demand, right? It's not 2 Subatas worth of ammo, if you know what I mean. Like, so you are going to come up short ammo-wise.
So it's more like how the Zukovs actually work, in that you're sort of. Or maybe it's more like how the minigun works. You're actually using like 2 bullets at once, but it's just 1 bullet. I don't know. So maybe you actually have half the ammo. Or you still.
It is. I'm not really sure if it's worth it into. But
you're probably right.
I think they have kind of missed. Like the Zukovs are good and all, but they really have ignored the appeal of a Kimbo. Generally as like a thing, like using 2 of things just feels so much cooler. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's a reason why the drills are as cool as they are, because you fucking you're just like. Yeah!
I didn't even consider the drills, but yeah. Well, that's also.
One-arm drill would be pretty cool.
That's also part of it, though. That's kind of part of it. It's like if any other weapon is gonna get 2, it's gonna be the pistols. It's gonna be the pistols. Yeah. Like it would be pretty cool. I mean because like even like 2 revolvers doesn't really make sense to me.
It would be like between the Subata or like the Burt, that kind of thing.
Burt would just be odd.
It would be just the Zukovs but burst. Which is basically what they're on anyway.
Yeah, but this is like Subata, but with a 2-shot burst. Yeah, that's not. What?
Fuck you, Henry.
Ah!
Stupid ass, +1 ass, stupid ass.
Don't worry, guys. I swear I'll have good ideas soon. Speaking of good ideas,
I don't even remember what I did for this. Oh, it's this. Yes, another one that I stole.
What?
Well, like my Burt ones, which are stealing overclocks from my other guns.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Burt one.
I stole from the Subata a lot with the Burt. And now I stole from Scout's main weapon.
Scout's main weapon.
Bullets of Revenge. Which is like Mercy, but the opposite of that.
Is it? No, no,
Sure it is.
no, no. The
Mercy
opposite.
is
No, the
forgiving.
opposite of mercy. No, 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 no. No, the opposite of mercy is cruelty.
No. Because
Yes.
mercy isn't the act of being kind and good. It's the act of forgiving.
No, it's the act of being forgiving.
Yeah. Being cruel doesn't mean you're not
Being
forgiving.
merciful. Spiteful. Bullets for spite.
No, revenge is if someone wrongs you.
Bullets
you
of
either
mal.
merciful
Bullets of
and forgive
malice.
them, or you get revenge.
Bullets of.
You're wrong. I am right. Okay.
Bullets of spite. Spiteful
No,
malice.
Bullets of revenge.
Bullets of.
Revenge is the opposite of mercy.
Bullets of vengeful, spiteful malice.
No.
Explain.
Just because you sprung a bunch of edgy, cool words doesn't make it right.
Bullets of McCree. What did it do, Tyler? Give us the deets.
Deals bonus damage to enemies afflicted with burning, frozen, corrosion, and neurotoxin.
Those are drillers' status effects.
And then here's the kicker: effect stacks. If they are afflicted by like more than one of these, it does more damage. With decreased mag size and increased spread. Those are not good. Whatever. The damage bonus is very little. If you hadn't guessed, you really are looking.
Well, you do have to guess because it's not written down.
Yeah, because who needs numbers when you could not do that?
Well, what is it then? Is it just very little? That's the number.
Yeah, the number is
very little.
Way little.
Way little. Way little.
Yeah, and yeah, you're really looking at like 2 things at least before it does like good damage. Well, so it doesn't reduce damage, but like before it does like actually.
No, it shouldn't because Bullets of Mercy doesn't reduce damage, as it should not.
Yeah,
because that's stupid. I don't like anything that does that. Like AI stability engine, it's just like, why would I want my damage reduced for more to get bonus damage? Like what? No, do something else.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Get out of here.
Like AI stability engine just kind of works. Just I don't know why. I guess I don't recall. Point is, yeah, it plays into elements.
Wow.
And also the neurotoxin grenade, because you could do it with Wave Cooker, but then you can't do it with Wave Cooker using Subata.
Exactly.
So you need to neurotoxin grenade and then set them on fire, or neurotoxin freeze, neurotoxin corrosion. So you need to use the neurotoxin grenade to use this.
Pardon me.
Overclock to its highest ability, which is basically my push here. It is something that should.
So the idea was for the neurotoxin grenade because they can stack the effects.
Yes.
Right.
That's why the effect stacks is a thing, because you'd be able to do all the 3 of them without the neurotoxin grenade, but you can't really burn or freeze at the same time with or corrode at the same time.
Even still,
those 3 and neurotoxin with the grenade.
That's weird. That's actually really weird and kind of genius, by the way, because obviously if you use the flamethrower, unless you're quite clever in what order you do things, the high chance you'll just set off the neurotoxin grenade.
Sure, but there's still
but you'll still get bonus damage. But you'll probably get more damage if you pair the neurotoxin happening at the same time as something else. But maybe you wouldn't.
Neurotoxin.
So I think.
Think about how much damage you're going to be doing there.
That's a good point. So to me, when I think about that, corrosion feels like you might actually get left behind a little bit, unless it stacks from the because an enemy being in a puddle and being corroded are sort of there's 2 different symbols. I think it's kind of the same effect, but would that be 2? That counts 2?
I think obviously there is a level that this could be broken as hell with teammates. Like you don't need to. First of all, you don't need to run neurotoxin grenade if you're a gunner. But you can't really balance stuff with other characters, right? Because Bullets of Mercy isn't that good with Scout. If there are characters doing it is because you can freeze very well.
You can do all of those things.
Yeah, but not that easily. Right.
I'm gonna have to say that's just not correct.
Other than freezing.
What?
What even are them? They're like what?
So
Freezing, electrocution.
okay, so no, Bullets of Mercy applies to enemies that are on fire, stunned, frozen, poisoned, and electrocuted. Fire, obviously the boomstick and fire bolts. Frozen, cryo bolts, cryo mine nets, cryo grenade. Electrocution, that applies to IFGs and taser bolts. Stun, it can do it itself. The assault rifle, boomstick can stun as well, and crossbow. And then poison is just for Scout himself. It's just the chemical bolts.
Did they have that before they added the chemical bolt?
Yeah, it already did poison. That was literally just for neurotoxin. I don't know why. Actually, it might not have been, but I think it was. But now it's there. We know it's there now. Anyway, whoa! So maybe it's not specifically neurotoxin. It would probably be down as poison. I think it has to be actually.
Maybe, but the point is neurotoxin.
The point is the Subata should probably have a Bullets of Mercy style overclock. The point is more guns should just have that. And I don't know why they're scared of it.
They need to balance gunners, drillers, grenades, not just by balancing them, but also by making it so axes aren't undeniably the best no matter what things you bring in.
Yeah, but Tyler, wouldn't your pistol whip apply to the axes?
Sure.
What about the HEs?
That is part of the melee build. The axes are part of the melee build, sure.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with the axe overall, but I'm saying that, you know, if they don't want axes to be 80% picked by all people, where the other 20% are kind of weird, to be honest, they need to put in more effort than the none they're currently doing. Obviously, they're going to be, well, currently they're adding new grenades, which will alter that percentage. But you know what I mean.
You know what I
mean.
mean.
Until now, and I think balancing the overclocks will only do so much. When even no matter what they do, the axes will still be the best idea because they get vampire from vampire and they get melee damage bonus.
Well, okay, just hold that thought. Let's just focus on this quickly.
It is part of this. Point is, this I think is a very good way of not only having a Bullets of Mercy type thing by Bullets of Revenge.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Cool name.
It is a good name.
And second of all, it would make you actually. Well, I'd say it makes you think about adding neurotoxin. I see no reason why you shouldn't use neurotoxin with this overclock. It will boost your overall damage.
No, there's no real reason, I suppose. But axes could still feel better, and you're not be able to affect that many more enemies with neurotoxin than you would with anything else. You'd really just want the neurotoxin for like single targets, really, like high priority targets, which is annoying considering it's like a very big radius and you only have 4 of them.
Yeah, well, I can only do so much. They need to fix neurotoxin to be a little more shit, or less shit.
A little bit more shit.
A little bit more shit.
Sure.
A little bit more shit needs to be in the cloud.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking about is just literally just category, because Bullets of Mercy obviously is a balance, and I think it applies to more effects, and it's still a 33% damage bonus. But I think something about this being in the context of Driller, it feels like it should probably have a few more drawbacks than just a little bit of magazine size. And in this case, it doesn't really. It's just spread and the magazine size. You could. I would probably just give penalties to literally everything apart from damage. But the only other thing is really just reload speed. But I mean that, so just give it a reload speed penalty as well, and then you're golden.
I think also bears in mind that if you pick this and the burning mod, you'll be doing quite a bit of damage to things on fire.
You would be doing a bit of damage. And I suppose you could technically, like I said, it's about what order you do things in, but you could still use it with neurotoxin. You could set an enemy on fire first, but you probably, for it to last, you probably want to use sticky flames, but then the sticky flames would activate the neurotoxin grenade, and it's just a whole bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, but you might just run this just purely for the extra burning boost. Right, you could have burning boost of this overclock, and you're going to be dealing enough damage without the neurotoxin.
Well, I wouldn't. I'd be using it as the starter pump because of bad things like dreadnoughts and robots.
Oh, it's also because
I guess.
technically. Oh, actually, no. No, you can't. I was thinking corrosion's the only way you could deal all three, or you deal three because you'd be able to set the corrosion on fire, but then otherwise you actually can't with this.
Yeah.
Point
But it's
is-
obviously the best overall. The most use cases. That's just corrosion in general. It has the most things it can be used against. That was like every stats effect, I
although
think.
I think this with cryo and this would be pretty strong.
Yeah, they'd all be good. They'd all be good for different reasons, and that's why it's a good idea. So
Thank you.
you're very welcome. We should probably I mean, we've talked a lot of shit already, but I'm just gonna put us onto the end screen to take the pressure off. Not that I was feeling any. Oh, what's that next week? The EPC. What's I come up for that?
I don't know. I'm gonna look.
Terrible things. I like my balanced one though. I like my balanced one quite a bit. Although we did very similar ones. No, I'm not looking. I don't know. No, it's fine. I'm not spoiling it. All right. I'm not an idiot.
Very similar balanced.
Yeah. It's really just going to be a competition.
Yeah, but we'll get to that next week. But for now, I don't think we have anything else to really drag this on for.
Let's talk about new grenades. No.
Let's not, shall we?
No.
Let's try and keep this more concise than it already isn't.
It already isn't. What's the point then?
Because... Let's just try, not waste more time. As in, thank you all for watching.
I think we're at. I can't see right now, but I think we're at about. I think we are about 40 minutes.
Good.
That's probably grossly incorrect.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It should be less.
How do we? And we need a proper sign off. Let's just. We tried to do something with the dwarf voice.
Yeah.
With like rock and stone, it's like and subscribe. That's it. I got it. It's pretty simple. Right. So oh shit. Liking and subscribing is rock and stoning. So rock and stone.